Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to do the kiln unloading. It finally got cool enough for me to open it. It's Sunday morning. I did briefly peek at the top earlier just to make sure everything wasn't completely destroyed. And so far the top looks good, so we're going to dive into this and hope the bottom still looks good too. This is not one of mine. This is from a potter called Edgecombe Potters from Maine. They do crystalline work. It's just my coffee. All right, so let's go. So this is a little like ice cream size bowl that I made for Matt, my husband. It actually turned out really, really pretty. Very excited. I'm in my garage, so I'm sorry about the glare, but if I don't have my ring light on, nothing looks like the right colors. So most of the glazes that I used in this kiln load are from a company called Mako. They get really nice, drippy, runny glazes, especially when they fire hot, and my kiln overfired, so hopefully these all look good. I was shooting for a cone 6 firing and I hit a solid 7, so we'll see how that comes out as we go down further in. I have very pretty tray that came out. This is with a textured rolling pin, and this is actually a different company's glazes. This is Amico glazes. But yeah, that came out really pretty. The back's that's my maker's mark. Then we have a spoon rest, which came out really, really pretty. I really like it. There's a type of glaze called flux along the rim, which gives it those nice little runny, lighter spots. So that one came out really nice. And then the last piece on the top shelf is my summertime sunshine plate. I actually have a smaller one that goes with this. This was hand built using a form from GR Pottery Forms. And then these are, it's an underglaze transfer from a company called Sandbow. So, pretty cool. I gotta take my shelves out. Ooh, pretty stuff. Yeah, I definitely overfired all the way down. So these are my cone packs. I would expect this one to lay down and this one to bend over, but this one still should have been standing. So the fact that this one bent down means I went a whole cone higher than I meant to. Whoops. But luckily, Mako glazes like to go hot. Hopefully my clay doesn't have a problem with going as hot as it did. That would be the concern, is that the clay body that I use could bloat if it gets too hot. So far everything looks okay. I don't see any bloating, so hopefully it all went okay. So here's a moon mug. Again, this is an underglaze transfer. This one is from a company called Elon Transfers. And then I have a nice teal and white glaze on the top of that. So that one came out really cool. So a lot of these pieces that are in here, I'm viewing them as test pieces because this is the first time I've done a glaze firing in my own kiln. Prior to this, I had fired at a community kiln, the place that I used to take classes for the past whole bunch of years. So I never had any control over how that kiln got fired. And I used almost exclusively Amico glazes from there, which are great. I like Amico's glazes, but I bought a whole bunch of Mako glazes. So this is a lot of test pieces for me. A lot of them are pieces that I had made specifically for like my kids, my husband, myself. And I just wanted to try all the different Mako glazes and see how they worked, since I haven't really worked with them much in the past. I think I've only used them once. So yeah, so if you see something that you're like, ooh, I really liked that one, let me know and I'll make more with that glaze combination. That's kind of the purpose of this kiln. Yeah, so I'm also gonna put up a post after this that has, for all my pottery nerdy friends, that has the glaze combinations that I actually used and how they were applied. So if you wanna try to get the same results with your own work, you'll be able to do that. Ooh. So here's a little wine tumbler. Oh Oh my goodness. Again, I'm sorry about that little bit of glare, but so these are crystals that are actually in some of the glazes that I used on these, and they just get nice and drippy and melty. Oh, so pretty. And then the inside is just this really pretty blue. That one came out nice. I'm excited, you guys. So this is a, this is a handmade little Easter jar that I made. I'd never made a lidded form before, so this is my very first lidded form. The lid stuck. So I'll see if I can get that off later. It's not glazed between the lid, but there's underglaze, and apparently my underglaze flexed just enough that it stuck. So I'll have to see later if I can get that to pop off. But this is another underglaze transfer that I just went in and added a couple little details after the fact and painted them. So it's just a cute little thing. Mainly I was just trying to see how it would work to make a little lidded jar like this. So came out cute. Hopefully I can get the lid off later. If that's the worst thing that comes out of this kiln, I'll be very happy. All right, what's next? So that big spoon rest that I had, I also have a little one with the same glaze design. I make these little ones. The first one I ever made was because of my husband, because he would get up in the morning and stir the cream in his coffee and then set the spoon on the counter. And I hate that. So I had made him a little, it's a coffee spoon rest. So you just set it next to your coffee maker, or if you drink tea, it could be for your teaspoon. And that way, when you come back to have your second cup, your spoon's not sitting on the counter being all gross. And I made one for him, and then my mother-in-law saw it, and she wanted one, and then my mom wanted one, and so then we have a few, and now my sister has a couple. So, you know, they're handy to have around. Just a little one. It matches the big one. They're a pair. So, I have a couple test tiles. Ooh, another wine glass. Ooh, this one ran. So I'm going to have to take this one off of the, so I fire these on little cookies in case the glaze runs, because again, I haven't used these glazes before. And this one got pretty hot, so it ran quite a bit. It came out beautiful. It's a purpley glaze on the inside, and then this nice drippy runny glaze on the outside. So what I'm going to have to do is I'll Dremel along this glaze line where it ran, and then pop the cookie off and sand the bottom down with a diamond sanding pad. But it's pretty. A little less next time, I guess. What else do we got? So this is the exact same glaze as on the outside as that glass I just shown, but it's the blue on the inside, and this one did the same thing. It ran off a little bit, so I'll have to go back and touch these ones up. They'll still be usable. I'll just have to sand down where the glaze ran after I take this little piece of clay cookie off the bottom. But really, really pretty. Blue on the inside, nice drippy on the outside. So this was an oops when I was glazing it. I put the glazes on in the wrong order, so I was curious to see how it was going to come out. I actually really like how the glazes look. They ran a little more than I wanted, so they covered up the little gnomies. This is another Elon transfer, but the glazes itself I really, really like. So I will definitely do this glaze combination again. Maybe not on top of a transfer, but even on the inside. I didn't actually wrap the glaze over, but it was just on the lip and it ran down really pretty on the inside. So that one's cute. Little gnomes. Oh. This is another one that's stuck. So this is what happens when you overfire. Your glazes get a little out of control and they run down off of the piece. But luckily, nothing is on my kiln shelves because the cookies worked and they all stuck to the cookies. But I'll have to take some time to clean these up. This one has a little bit of like a bluish tint because of one of the glazes that I used called Norse Blue. But again, nice and drippy. It came out really, really good. So I'm not unhappy with them. I'm a little disappointed that they all stuck, but a little bit of time cleaning them up and they'll be good as new. And then I tried a technique that I've never done before called Peacock Glazing on a couple of bowls, and I'm extremely happy with them. So here's what Peacock Glazing looks like. It's a lot of using that flux, which gets really runny, and then some colored dots of another type of glaze, and that flux picks up the color and just brings it all down. So this one came out very, very nice. The glaze that I used over the top of the whole thing is something called Celadon Bloom, and it actually gets these little crystal blooms in it. So those came out really cool amid all the drips out here. You can see the blooming crystals between the drips. So really, really neat. I love the inside of this one. That's gorgeous. And then I did one more with different glaze combinations. This one ran off the piece onto the cookie, so I'll have to take some time to get that off. But the glaze combination is gorgeous. And they didn't craze at all, which is great. Crazing is when it gets little cracks in it. And sometimes the glazes will have a tendency to do that when you do this, but very, very pretty. It really only ran in one spot, just right here, it's stuck. So again, I'll get that off later and clean that bottom up, but these ones were gonna be for me anyway, so no harm, no foul. And again, this is a test kiln, so this is letting me know how far down I can glaze with all of these. I have glaze application pictures of every one of the pieces that I did, so I can see how far down did I take it, and I won't go down that far next time, or I won't fire so darn hot. So, because that was a mistake. Although the glazes all turned out really, really pretty, so apparently firing that hot was not a terrible thing. I'll stand by for shelf removal. These are just kiln stilts. That's what is used to hold the shelves up when you stack your shelves into the kiln. For my non-pottery nerd friends. Ooh, that one tried to stick to the stilt. Okay. Next shelf. Oh, cute. And those really stuck. So I made a couple little bowls for the kids. For like, they eat mac and cheese a lot. So these were their mac and cheese bowls. Same glaze on these. They came out really, really pretty. Again, this thing overfired and everything stuck to the cookies. So I'll be having a lot of work later dremeling off these cookies and then sanding the bottoms. But luckily I have really good sanding pads from Diamond Core Tools. So it won't be that big of a deal once I get the cookies off to clean these up. But glaze combination is awesome. Love how runny and pretty that looks. Looks like melted ice cream. Couple more little medium-sized spoon rests. These ones have a wood grain, obviously. So one of these was really warped going into the kiln, and it's still very warped. Has a bit of a wobble, but we'll see if I can't flatten it out on my grinding pad. But yeah, these ones came out cute. This was a new glaze I hadn't used before. This is actually an Amico glaze called Oil Spot. So very, very wood grainy. I like it. I had extra clay one day and I was cleaning up and I made myself a little gnome. Isn't he cute? Little gnomey. And then a couple little trinket dishes. Like you can set these by your sink when you're washing dishes and stick your rings in them, or earrings in the bathroom so you don't lose them down the sink. Little nod to St. Patrick's Day coming up. I threw a couple test tiles in here too. So these are just little pieces of clay that I made that have texture so you can test out what glazes look like. For example, these two are the same base glaze, which is looking very maroon on here, but it's actually purple. And then different types of a drippy glaze over the top to see how they would react. So pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, we had a casualty, which I'm not surprised. This thing was wicked thick. I'd made a little Christmas tree way back, and it had just been sitting on my shelf waiting to fire. So it was definitely dry, but it also definitely cracked. Well, you can't win them all. Came out okay. Not super happy with the glaze, but it was also going to be mine, so I can still use it. Just put that part back when I'm displaying it at Christmas. Certain areas of the kiln get hotter than others. Like I notice on my thermocouples, the middle of my kiln always seems to fire a little hotter than the top and bottom, but I have an app. I can watch it while it fires. So it could just be that that one got a little too hot. That part was out towards the elements. This was going to be a mug, and it's so dry here right now that during the drying, even though I dried it really slow, the handle popped off. So it's now going to be a like a tool cup for my table, but the glaze would look nice. This is another of that oil spot to bring out the texture of the wood, although this one got a little drippy. Ooh, pretty. This is the same glaze I was talking about earlier, Celadon Bloom, that gets the little crystal blooms that grow. And that's the only glaze on this one, so no drips. That doesn't really move if you just put that one glaze on. Some people think it looks like a petri dish. I think it's really pretty. So that one came out nice. I had a couple little cups that I was putting, these are mountains. They got a little obscured. Little like tool cups or toothbrush cups. The inside of this is amazing. That got really, really pretty. I like that a lot. I wasn't sure if it would run down and cover up the decal at all. This is another one from Elon Transfers. But actually I quite like it. I think that looks nice. Whoops, it's okay, that was just a cookie. I had another one. This one actually ran even more. Different, same thing, just a mountain on the bottom. You really can't see it very much, but again, it's for putting like pencils and tools in on my table, but I wanted to see how this glaze was going to turn out, and it's quite gorgeous. This is just a single glaze called Midnight Rain, but it has these crystals in it that turn kind of brown when they're fired and they get a little runny. So it quite pretty. I really like that one. Let's see. Yay! This one is really cool. It did funky things on the inside. I don't know if you can see it. It's like the color of this glaze got really weird on the inside. I'll have to look back and see what glaze this was. I thought it was, I don't know, I'll have to look. But I don't know what it is now because it's green with blue splotches, which is kind of awesome. I don't know if I could make that ever happen again because it's not what that glaze is supposed to do. But the outside of it is fantastic. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I had Aurora Green and Norse Blue on this, but I don't know now. I'll have to look at my glaze combo sheet. Very, very cool. I like that one. Lukey, if you're watching, this is for you. My nephew had seen that I had made some little cups for my kids for the bathroom, like to drink while they're doing their teeth. And he wanted a cup. He said for his bathroom, but then my sister said he probably just needed maybe like a pen cup because he has one in his bathroom. But they like to sail. My sister's family likes to go sailing. So I made him a little nautical themed. He can use it as a toothbrush holder or a water glass or a pen cup for his desk. But wow, buddy, it came out so cool. I hope you like it. And again, I got that really cool green and blue effect happening on the inside. I'm going to have to figure out, I don't remember what glaze I had. And it's on my phone, which I'm using to film. So I'll have to wait till later to figure it out. Very, very cool, buddy. I hope you like it. This one's for you, Luke. And we have one more set of shelves to pop out of here. I'll actually pause for a second so you don't have to watch. And we're back. The bottom of the kiln was plates. I had a couple low shelves in there. So again, consistently overfired the entire kiln. But everything down here looks pretty good. I had a couple more of these little shamrock trinket dishes. And a couple little lace heart dishes that are the same thing. So you use them for little trinkets, setting your rings in when you're doing dishes, stuff like that. And these had a piece of lace that was pressed into them, and then some underglaze that was applied and wiped back, and then they were clear glazed. This came out cute. And here is the little plate that goes with my big sun plate, little set for the summertime. This came out cute. Ooh, pretty. So I had a great big platter, not great big, I got a medium-sized platter with a underglaze transfer. This one is from Sambao, and then the back is just clear glazed, but very, very cool. It didn't warp, it's nice and flat, which is awesome. The color turned out really pretty. And these, I had stamps made with the Maker's Mark that I use. And when I first got my stamps, I had just tried them all out, the different colors of them. I figured I'd glaze them, put magnets on the back. So this is my little shamrock with the JS at the bottom. I got 3 of those, different sizes. And the last plate is the one, I did a video of wiping back underglaze that I had applied to a plate. This is that plate. After the underglaze was wiped back, it was fired with a glaze called Rainforest from Amico on top of it. So that one, really pretty. Very nice. That was my last piece out of the kiln. So I would call that a success. I have a lot of work to do getting those cookies unstuck off the drippy pieces, but I'm super happy with the way that everything turned out. So lots of good notes for moving forward. Like I said, I'm going to put up another post that gives individual pieces with glaze combinations of pictures. So if you guys see something that you like, let me know so I know what I should be making more of in the future. I have a couple combos over here that I'm definitely doing again because they're awesome. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And I will let you know the next time I do a kiln unloading so that you can follow along. Have a good day, guys.